We welcome you back, viewers, to the continuing adventures of our vampires here in Tarheel by Dark, the continuing intrigue and politics. Tonight, we have a special scene tonight. Mr. Woodrow Dennington, our resident Duke of the East Carolina District, some few hours earlier, received a message from Prince Josiah through his aide, and told him to expect a package this evening, and in that message included all the information that you would need to verify the security of that on that package, that in order to keep the masquerade intact. And we open the scene with a knock at your haven door, Woodrow.
Okay, well, Woodrow would go answer his door.
Okay. As you do so, standing there at the door is essentially what looks like to be a UPS, or not an actual UPS, not USPS, service worker, who is basically a clipboard in hand with an ink pen, and basically, he introduces himself, and he actually hands you a card with all of the corresponding, passwords and security information that Josiah gave to you. And he basically turns over the clipboard and an ink pen to you, basically indicating that, just that Josiah sent this with signature confirmation.
Sure, I'll give signature confirmation.
All right. Also, as you look beyond him, sitting, out there on the curb is indeed a UPS truck, where another gentleman is standing on the back of the truck, and the first gentleman you're speaking with here at the door, signals back to that gentleman, where he pulls up the back of the truck, and as the gentleman you spoke with heads over that way, the two gentlemen bring a large, man-sized package, actually wrapped up in an actual cardboard package to your door.
Okay. Woodrow will thank the gentleman, and he'll tip them $10 each.
Okay.
And he'll close the door. And did he say why he sent me, or did he just send me a package, or did he say why he sent me, or?
He said in the package, he said there would be more information in the package, okay, and that the package was yours to do with after you had got your use out of it.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just rip open the front of the package.
Okay. As you do so, inside what he wrapped up, and this is why the package was so heavy, there is a old school wooden style coffin that's wrapped up in this cardboard. And I mean, when I say old school, I mean it's the actual size of the old style coffin, with the complete with wooden everything. This isn't even like a nice coffin.
Sure. I will then, I guess, have my servants pick up the box and set it inside my regular library, where I don't keep my special books, but just, for entertaining people. And I'll sit behind my desk and have them open the box.
All right. As they do so, the gentleman that you met the other night, the one that kept wanting to be known as a caitiff, the one that he let you have a taste of his blood, that gentleman is in this box with a stake in his heart. Attached to the stake is a typed note that basically reads, "He has served his purpose for me," and basically it's Sam saying basically that he recognizes him for what he is, and that he wished to move into your district, and he understood that the two of you had apparently reached some kind of understanding, so he shipped him down here, and basically he was under your guide from here out.
Okay. I ask my people to face him away from me, and then remove the stake from his chest, like reach around the box and remove the stake, and then leave the room.
They do so.
So you are conscious and aware.
All right. And you have been fed before this trip, Mr. Bashar.
Thank you for that. Not a big fan of the travel method, but I guess it works.
Have a seat.
Moving to politely sit down.
Being this close to Woodrow now and in a calmer setting, when you see Woodrow's eyes, he's either got some kind of cat-like contact lenses or his eyes are truly cat eyes. The room is kind of dim, but it does not, his eyes glow faintly in the firelight on the other side of the room, and they kind of narrow in when they look at you. So, you, for your own reasons, choose to state your Cana versus Mount Caven because of the stigma that's associated with your parent clan.
This is true. And it also allows certain expenses to be written off if necessary.
Sure. I am willing to let you stay in my domain. But, as you claim Caitiff, none will question too much if a Caitiff goes missing within my domain.
As known, and as understood.
And given that I will keep your secret, I expect you to be not just a member of my domain, but an active contributor to my domain.
Of which I had been meaning to ask the prince, but had not gotten around to it, and hoped to a bit later. I was going to offer my services as a scourge. Given that by pretending to be Caitiff, it does allow me to be more, as we say, an expendable asset where needed.
Fine. I will grant you the position that offers you no formal gain of standing, but you will be, for my domain, I will declare you my personal executioner. Should you find those in this, as a scourge would find in my domain that are not acknowledged and have not presented themselves, you can bring them to me.
Consider me your punisher, sir.
Like his eyes kind
Like
of
I said,
narrow.
as a canon note, PJ, if you want to, you have the right to actually set him as your actual hand.
Yeah, but
Like
he's
I said,
not.
if you're wanting to do that.
No, he's not ready to be like my hand. Woodrow is test running him before he gets himself, in trouble.
Oh, I know.
Well, it's also because we started off on the wrong foot.
So, things that you may not procure as your own. I own the college. Other places in the domain are up for me giving you as domain, should you find some place that you feel is appropriate. Things that I would enjoy you finding under your purview. There is a coroner in this city. I do not have him under my sway. That is, I am comfortable with you taking him as your own to cover up breaches from questioning police officers. I plan to put my hands in the city's police department, specifically Greenville. I will give you, should you not want to live in Greenville itself, if you choose to go to one of the outlying cities, that is also acceptable. Just tell me which part of the city you wish, and should you prove to be more useful, you may take the whole city that is not Greenville, one of the lesser cities in my domain, and I would be acceptable to that. I will need to, whatever spot that you choose, if you don't choose the city proper, you'll have to tell me what you want exactly, because Mr. Putineska has talked about moving resources here, and should he choose to, then he has priority over you for the slight that you made against him.
Understood.
As well as Mr. Jimmy J.
Understood. Perhaps it's not necessarily my purview in and of itself. However, I'm sure it would be of good use. If nothing else, a place to hide potential undesirables and problems before they become too severe. Is there a location in and around the area you control that involves care for those who are mentally, shall I say, fragile?
Of the Kindred state or human populace?
Human. The beautiful thing about those locations is if someone claims to be a vampire, they're already in an asylum for the mad. No one's going to believe them.
Problematic Kindred, I have a place to hold them. As for mortal wise, I'll do a quick Google search. Is there some kind of mental health place around?
Yeah, it's there's a ward referred to as Cherry Hospital in Goldsboro. It's about it's less than an hour and a half drive from Greenville.
I tell you that.
That sounds acceptable if no one else chooses to claim it. It also gives you a location where you have more access on the medical side of things. Granted,
Yes.
it involves the broken mind, but it's still a little bit more than what you had.
I have no issue with you taking that place. I do mind if you intend to start making progeny and experiment on them in there, and at some point I find out that there are tons of your child are there, I'll be very upset.
That would be understood. Because if I was to start making progeny, we have a problem to begin with. Unfortunately, despite my claims as Cative, my child might not be the same, and may not want to be as quiet about it, leading to problems not just for myself, but for you, and for the rest of the Kindred.
I am a fairly lenient Duke, you will find. You can do most things in my domain, and I don't require to be asked permission. Other than what I tell you you can't have, you can have whatever. You can, if you find them as scourge, take playthings and experiment on them in your facility, if that is your whim. I do not want you diablerizing the individuals unless we've first discussed it.
Which is understandable. A potential diablerie leads to possibility of someone being, I won't necessarily say an outright challenge to your power, but can become a problem later on.
Yes. Simple statements of fact. You are officially welcomed into my domain. If you fuck up, you will pay the first time, and we will educate you. And I genuinely mean education, and not some form of torture. The second time that you fuck up in my domain, you will be educated in what you did wrong, and you will be tortured. And then the third time, I will see if anyone of value in your clan wishes to discuss keeping you alive, and being a caitiff, that seems unlikely. But if someone wishes to keep you alive, I will allow them to pay me to let you live. Otherwise, I will destroy you. If the time between fuck-ups is substantial, like, say, 6 months to a year, which in the grand scheme of our lives isn't very long, but it's long enough that should you only fuck up every 6 months, I can probably make sure that it's covered and it will not bring any unnecessary attention to my the area of my duchy, then we will discuss more leniency. If within a year's time you've screwed up 3 to 4 times, though, I unfortunately will have to eliminate you, as you are too great a detriment to our society.
Thankfully, I'm glad that we've been able to work this out in a much more peaceful manner than when we first met, of which I would like to offer my sincerest and most truthful apology for such. When I did my actions, I was not currently aware of the full results they would have, and make no intention of which to repeat those.
That's definitely good to hear. You will have to find something to make reparations with Mr. Puttanesca, because he will most assuredly want you tortured or destroyed. So I would quickly find some way to appease him. He enjoys Pepsi Cola. He has enough money to buy all he needs, but it's a good way to start a situation with him having Pepsi in large quantities, and then have a plan of something to offer him, not being on a monetary scale. So I don't know if I have a wealth of books. Some of them are occult in nature. I'm sure I could dig up a book on necromancy or wraiths in my library and give that to you, but then of course you would owe me. So that is something that he enjoys if you end up finding it, or things for me. True occult books, if you are a true, someone who knows about the occult, they are good for me as well, as oddities or doing something impressive in my domain.
I know a little. As the old saying goes, I know enough to get myself into trouble with them.
He kind of gives a laugh, and he stands. And he turns his back on you and looks out the window. Everyone knows me as a monster who destroys things. I am truly at my heart a historian. I follow the Kindred condition, how it's evolved through the years, clans that have come, clans that have gone. I have an extensive knowledge of that aspect of the world. I'm becoming more well-versed in the knowledge of demons and how to banish them, and I have a strong grasp of the workings of the Garu, or you would know them as werewolves.
He actually kind of chuckles when you say Guru, and mutters under his mouth, in perfect French, "Le Guru, I thought the werewolves, I thought they were a myth."
Woodrow doesn't respond. I suggest that you stay out of the far western part of the state, the Appalachian district. That is where the wolves call their home. And they have destroyed one member of the domain since I've been here in my short time. and they've also laid a potent hex on another person in this domain and have injured several members of the domain. And they are not to be trifled with.
Definitively understood. Oh, before I forget, on my way here, while I was asleep, you mentioned Pepsi Cola. I do believe I saw something of or not so much saw, but heard the driver taking me, something about a bottling company for them on my way here. What do you know of that building?
I don't know anything of that building. I do not believe Mr. Putinesca owns it. Purchasing it for him may make him happy.
That's something I was going to look into.
Yeah, the company that he's referring to, PJ, is in Winterville. It's about 20 minutes outside of Greenville, and it services that particular bottling plant services all of your district and a few places in your neighboring ones.
Out of game, that's why I'm using that reference point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, we try to use as much realistic stuff as we can. So.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yes, I do not have a problem with you acquiring that building or that company.
Particularly as it would be a gift for him, with a sorry about our earlier misunderstandings.
Yes, that will likely get you out of being immediately murdered, and then subsequent assistance with things will probably deepen the bond. I think that's a wise course of action. Oh, do you want to make a perception roll?
Yeah, I'll make one. Especially since I'm attentive. So, is it just perception, or do I need to roll?
It'd be investigation, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So 6 die.
Yeah, you have more than enough successes.
Yeah.
You're not sure about outside of the house, but definitely inside, noticing the windows. In the corner of the windows, there are blood-marked runes. In the corner of every window.
I'm not gonna actively touch one, but I am gonna kind of do a very quick study over. I'm assuming that's going to be a intelligence.
Yeah, it's intelligence occult.
Horrible botch.
So
I don't recognize them at all.
No, you're like, oh, I think I heard about that. That's like Garu magic or something.
All I know is I don't need to touch it.
Yeah, touching it's a bad idea.
Yeah, so with the bot you think something fucked up about it, but you can determine what fucked up thing you think it is about this. Maybe you think it's infernal. Well, with a bot you just don't know not to touch it. You actively think something wrong.
Yeah, it's just you have no clue. Common sense probably tells you it's a bad idea not to mess with it, but
well, common sense tells me not to touch it.
Yes.
Botch tells me the best thing I can do is ask him what that thing is.
Well, with a bot you actually make a bad assumption.
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm like, that's fey magic, ain't it?
He turns and looks at you, and he tries to ascertain where you're pointing. And he looks at the spot, and he says, no, you are very wrong.
Huh. May I ask her?
You may ask, but I'm going to tell you that it's something best not looked into too deeply.
then that would definitely explain why something told me not to touch it.
Yes, it is a very good idea to not touch it at all. Do you
It's about
need
that
anything?
time. It's
Oh,
about that time, Woodrow, that you hear a light knock on the library door, followed by a very familiar British voice. Mr. Dennington, it's when you have a moment, there's a phone call for you, sir.
if you'll please wait here for a moment. You're free to peruse any books in this room.
Do very, very, very light perusing.
Yeah, he doesn't have any of his good stuff in here. This is all, basic,
It's general
this
books.
is
I
like,
mean,
yeah, this is general knowledge books, yeah.
Well, this I'm like, okay, I'm like, with the occult section, I'm like, okay, this is the stuff I do understand. I'm sort of like, okay, these I know. Kind of, sort of. I'm in my safety net right now. Rest of it, no. This, yes.
yeah, I mean, here you find, like, War and Peace and, collected works of Robert Frost, shit like that.
Yeah.
If it does have an occult section, it's definitely not anything hardcore or anything. It's just really light stuff.
Yeah, it's like magic for
Silver
dummies.
Ravenwolf. It's Silver Ravenwolf is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, so it's magic for dummies.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I will go and answer this call.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute myself for
All right.
this one.
There is the voice on the other end of the line sounds like Sam's voice. It's good evening, Mr. Dennington. I was just calling to ensure that your package had arrived.
It did indeed.
Very well, very well. Also, while I have you on the phone, I was told that you were in the process of looking for someone who could assist with further securing your haven.
The good Archon has agreed to secure actually making my haven incredibly defensible and acquiring me the person to do it. She said she would finance and find the individual, assuring that I would destroy her child utterly.
That's why you asked for that, right? Interesting to see our paperwork checks out. Then you should hear contact from the lady in a number of nights.
Wonderful. If she requires to be set up with somewhere temporary to stay, I will provide her lodgings, as that would not be your job.
Very well, very well, very well. Now, I will say this and I know the good Archon did mention this, but only because I don't believe in hearsay. She does not come cheap.
Sure.
Very well, very well. Like I said, just as I said, I'm not a man to rest on hearsay. So, but very well. That being said, I just wanted to check in with you and see that things had gone according to plan.
Yes, everything is fine.
All right. Very well then, Mr. Dennington. You have a good evening.
You as well.
As the line goes dead.
I will go back into the room and clear my throat. Is there anything else you needed, Florian?
Just wished to know if there was anywhere in regards to a location that might be purchasable this time at night for a haven.
At this point in the evening, I will provide you with stay in my own haven for 2 nights.
I thank you, sir. There should be more than enough time for me to make a purchase of one.
Very good. That is acceptable. I will allow you to as a gesture of goodwill, since I did hit you very vigorously, you may choose one professor at the college, and should you choose to, you may ghoul them so that you have access to their sway in the university. The dean is under my sway. So
to aim for the dean would be foolish for me personally, because because as you are the duke of this location, for me to take the head would mean I consider myself your superior. To consider myself that it would be a very drastic and foolhardy measure on my own case.
Woodrow gives a small inclination of his head. Then you can be about whatever you choose to this evening. I have rooms on this floor of the house, this being the first floor, that you may stay in. If any one room suits your liking, you may choose that. The upstairs is off limits to you. I do have a mastery of aspects as well, so please don't try to push your luck and go upstairs.
Understood. I'll just goes and finds the closest thing to a first floor guest room.
Yep. You once again will find those little blood traces.
Okay, guest room
The closest
is
thing
not a
to it.
good term for it. There is no such thing as a guest room in this home. We're talking like Biltmore Estates level guest rooms here. This is an extremely nice house. Actually, you're familiar with Greenville IRL. Where his house is in Star Hill Farms.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever room you pick, it's a very large, lavish, room
Yeah.
with all the amenities.
I'm doing that and just politely taking the registry of like ECU professors. Just taking a copy of it to browse through.
Sure. You will notice that your room does not have curtains, but it does have windows. And in the corner of the window is a little mark.
Looking to see if it's the same type I recognized from earlier.
Yes.
That seems kind of now important. But I'm not going to mess with it. And just for safe measure, scooches under the bed and is pretty soon falling asleep.
Sure.
So
That's cool. Woodrow will go to his private library. He is continuing to research the demonology and the banishment or the binding of a demon to a place so that he can contend with these infernalists and continue to research that ritual that he's been researching for the last 2 months.
All right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You have actually visited the occult shop, right? The one that the Reverend frequents when he's in town.
Yes, I know that occult shop. I also have a member of every name of every person in their coven.
All right. This evening you seem to make a bit of headway. As you're basically looking through, studying through a number of tomes, you come across something that you had missed before. There is basically a drawing of some type of a amulet of power in one of the tomes, and it's in a drawing that you recognize as having been an item that was available at the shop.
Oh. Like, is this a symbol of power to, like, empower demons, or someone who is working for a demon and has, like, bound, like, a minor one in there to give them extra power, or what?
All right. It looks like, you would know what Ankh looks like. Kindred use it all the time. but this one is more of a where the end of the cross on a normal arc is solid. This one is split and comes out to basically to a pair of almost like metal tongue like protrusions. It's according to your text, it's an instrument of power that has been it can be used as an assistance in a summoning, but that object alone will not summon.
Oh, okay.
It basically, from what you're reading, it almost sounds like it's almost like a power conduit.
Okay. So that's unfortunate to hear. Nobody likes conduits to bring more infernal people.
I don't know. I like it. The black elevates it. It makes
Okay.
it a little.
I guess I gotta fucking go investigate.
Yep. You also notice that there is also there is a newspaper that is laying there on one of the tables in your private library.
Okay,
Actually, today's newspaper actually. Front cover, and it's actually not the local paper. It's the paper from up in the Wake District. The cover story is that a blood bank had been robbed in the previous night.
a blood bank has been robbed?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Bruja.
I mean, there's various other stories, sundry crimes, and the local interest paper is talking about one of the local professors has been promoted, and there's as you're flipping through it, there's a little note in there about Phantom of the Opera coming to the Performing Arts Center in Durham, but everything so far is just nothing's sticking out except that blood bank robbery.
Yeah. I remember in the Wake District, there was Ventru and the Bruja who had the deal going about the blood. Oh man, there's so much stuff to do. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Basically, it details basically saying that that there was basically an undetermined amount of cash had been taken, several computers, and it actually has the word surprisingly is written in there a number of blood bags as well, and according to the center, those particular blood bags were basically had been earmarked to go to the Wounded Warrior project for use at VA hospitals.
Okay, I'm gonna call Josiah.
Okay, real quick, guys, in case you didn't see, I'm gonna...
Yes, go ahead, bud. I saw. Go ahead,
Okay,
take it easy, man.
Alright. See you,
Yeah.
talk to you later.
Peace.
All right.
You call Josiah.
You get his secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd like to speak with Josiah, please.
All right, thank you very much. It'll be just a second. Let me see if I can get him for you. And of course, the obligatory elevator music plays for a couple of moments. And you hear her. She returns to the phone. So he's in a bit of a meeting right now, though he did say if it was urgent, he would take it.
He should take the phone call.
Very well. Again, sorry for the delay. Same thing. She puts you back on hold, and a couple of moments pass, and you hear his voice. Josiah.
Yes. Two things. For one, there's that those Bruja that were stealing blood, or with the Ventru, when the Ventru were stealing blood. I don't know if it's the Bruja or your own clan back at it again, but they're definitely attracting attention in the news. And two, I think I've found out that there's a power conduit and potentially some infernalists that I'm going to have to deal with. I had hoped that the whole coven of the people who were in my district weren't all corrupted, but there are enough that I don't know that I can leave anything to chance, as I found a power conduit to summon a more powerful demon than they had previously.
You hear a very audible, loud sigh come from the other end of the phone. Do what you have to with the Infernalist, and I don't need to tell you to remember the masquerade. You have been my most esteemed warrior of the Camarilla. As far as the blood bank, I believe we have a bigger problem, actually, because my people had already mentioned something about the blood bank, but my concern is that I believe you have met with you have at least met Miss Kira, or Miss Kendra, some time ago. From what I was able to determine, it happens to be the blood bank that she actually operates.
Okay. That is interesting. I'll need to speak with her. If you could find out if it's your venture associates or the Bruja, I do have a nagging worry that sometimes these infernal rites require a substantial amount of blood to power them, and I'd hate to find out that these Bruja are in fact doing just that.
Likewise, agreed. I'm more inclined to believe it to be these Bruja, especially with the very. Again, I'm not the type to point fingers, or again, as you know, to rely on hearsay, but circumstantial evidence does heavily point to Mr. Terrence, what with his unusual silence in all of this.
Oh, damn. What if Terry's infernal? Oh, he's been so power hungry recently. I'm going to kill him soon. Maybe I should just kill him tonight by myself. No. I probably shouldn't.
If he's as strong as we believe he may be, you may want to, again, not that I doubt your power, I've seen it, but for security and safety, you may want to bring back up.
Yeah. I was just thinking that not letting my hubris get the best of me. Should somebody luckily find a stake into my heart, giving me and them possibly twisting me to the infernal seems devastating.
Indeed. Well, very well. Well, there is one thing that I did forget to mention on the note that I sent with Mr. Bouchard. He's made me aware that he does have a bit of skill that your coterie may find of use, a skill in creative information gathering, I believe was the term he used for it. And the gentleman is not exactly awful with hand-to-hand combat.
I don't have an issue. He understands direct information and orders when given. I feel that he will have to earn his freedom in my domain until he proves that he's not a liability, but he readily accepts and wishes to prove to me that he is helpful versus harmful.
Very well. That's the reason why I've released him from my apprenticeship so early.
Well, thanks for the information, Josiah. I need to go root around the occult shop, I guess.
Very well. Very well. Well, just as always, take care of your business and keep me informed.
Thank you.
You hear this, and his end of the line goes dead.
Okay. I will actually stop by and try to see if the dean lives on campus so I can try to Google him.
After a bit of literal running around and red taping, you determine that he actually is not on campus this evening.
Okay. All right. Well, then I will leave, and then I will head to the occult shop.
All right. All right. As you get there, you notice that the shop is closed up for the evening, and this time you notice they actually have put hours on the door, where apparently they are from noon to 10 p.m. on weekdays, and they stay open till midnight on weekends.
Okay. So I know that there's like a camera outside.
Oh yeah.
Can you roll me 10 dice? I don't care if they're like just real dice that you have. If your dice roller's not working, you can just roll me some real life dice and just tell me what I got.
All right. And what exactly to do here? Just out of curiosity.
Spending a blood for thaumaturgy, and I'm going to short out their security system through the camera.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to use actual dice. How many do you need, bud?
10 dice.
All right, coming up. Let's see. Let me go grab them real quick. All right, sorry about this. Apologies, viewers. I will be right back. All right.
I mean, I guess
All
I
right.
could just roll some dice rolling out too.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, that's gonna be 5 successes.
Okay. The thing is out for the next 50 minutes. Like the system is shorted and cannot regain power for 50 minutes is rather what I should say.
All right.
So since I took out the security system, I'm going to walk up to the door, look around to make sure I'm obviously not being stared at or watched. And then, okay, then I have a 11 dice larceny to open the door.
All right. Grab another. Not quite as good on this one. 4.
I mean, that's, I assume that it's not a super complex lock.
Oh, no. It's just a simple actual key lock.
Okay. Oh, just to remind you, I do have a merit that lets me auto-ignore a 1, if that makes any differences to the rolls.
No, you were good, yeah.
Okay, so, I will unlock it, and then I will start looking around the place. Now that no one's here, lifting up, like, the rug on the floor, like, moving stuff, moving bookcases even to look behind them to see if there's, like, summoning stuff going down or getting ready. Or if anybody's in there, I will stealth. I'm going to stealth first. Just in case somebody is in there doing nefarious things.
Yeah, you're clear for the evening.
Okay.
The only thing that you really kind of might be a tip off is that there is a room in the back of the shop. Basically, not just the reading room that you knew about. There's another room further in the back of the shop that basically, as you stick your head in there, you see that there is a teapot that is sitting on a table there in the middle of the room with a number of chairs and a number of tea services that are seated around the table. From as best as notice and being intrigued, you step inside and see that the teapot actually is empty and that the tea actually is not hot.
So, like, they had a meeting earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. And is the ankh somewhere in the place, or is it like drawn on the place, or where?
It's actually available as available to buy. It's actually sitting in the. There's one sitting in the display case.
Oh, like they're just like letting people buy infernal artifacts and just like take it home.
Yeah.
They're flooding the area with infernal empowering things.
Yeah, that happened.
That is shitty. That is the most shitty. Do they have like I'm gonna check around the place and like the stock and the back and everything and make sure there's not just like a pile of these things.
No. That's even even after popping open a couple of boxes and sealing them back. There's that one is the only one that you see in the shop anywhere. Most of what's in their stock is is herbs and backstock books.
Okay. Well, I'm going to humph and be mad right now because they're all not home. Although I do have where they all like live and stuff. Just say I looked up all that shit. I'm gonna look up the girl who runs the place, the nighttime manager chick. She used to go to that. She used to go to that one guy's house, but since I killed him, I assume she hasn't gone back. So I'm gonna go check and check her address out.
All right. You head out that way, and everything is going good until you see you happen to see a blue light in the rearview mirror of your vehicle.
Okay. I will stop and pull over if it's like the blue lights of a police officer.
Yeah. That's actually a cop.
Okay, I pull over.
He pulled you over, and a couple of moments pass, and you can see basically out of the you can see the shadow in the strobes. You see the driver's door of the police car opens as you see he reaches back in and he grabs what looks like his baton and a hat, an actual drill sergeant style hat, and he heads up to the car.
Okay.
And he stops there at the door. Doesn't tap on the window or anything, but he just taps. He waits.
I roll down the window.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. How we doing tonight?
Doing wonderful.
Yeah. Say, I pulled. You sure? Do you know why I pulled you?
I do not, in fact.
So you got a tail light out back here on the driver's side. On the driver's side.
I press on my brakes. Do I see like one that's actually broke?
Yeah, there actually is one broke.
So it is. I'm very sorry, officer.
All right. Let's say, do you happen to have your you got your license on you tonight?
I will pull out my license and registration.
All right. Let's say he takes them and actually looks over him. He doesn't even go back to the car. He looks over him for a couple of moments and flips your license over, takes a look on the back, and you see he hands them back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "Sir, just hang tight for me real quick. I'll be right back."
Okay. I'm gonna look, and I need you to roll me 10 dice because I'm gonna short out his car.
Okay. Looks like holy shit. 7.
Okay. So while he's walking away, I do that, and then when his car is turned off, my eyes of the beast. I will hit the actual CB radio on his chest.
Okay. That's odd. You can hear basically. You never told me. You didn't tell me you rolled the window back up. So basically, you can hear him as he's walking away. He's about halfway back to the car when he says that.
Okay. Yeah, and I hit the one on his chest too, so it doesn't. I guess you need to roll 10 again to so that his radio one, his chest one, does not work.
No, don't worry about it, dude. You got it.
Okay.
You
I'll
got
look
it,
at him. Is everything all right, officer?
No, yeah, it's gonna be okay. Like I said, it's okay, man. Just had a momentary equipment malfunction there, real quick. Actually, I'll tell you what, bud. I was gonna write you a warning ticket for tonight, but since you've been so cooperative, tell you what, we're just gonna let this one slide. But like I said, you do need to get that light fixed. So
Yeah, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna activate heightened senses hearing and empathy to see if he was actually gonna do that, or if he was gonna, like, I don't know, do something else, like tip off hunters or do some bullshit.
all right.
And that is, I guess, perception with, would you say I have a lower difficulty for listening for heart rate?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be 5 dice.
Alrighty, 5 die coming up. Yeah, he's legit.
Okay, cool.
Well, obviously the heart rate's just a tad higher than normal, but nothing that's going to tip you off. I mean, for crying out loud, he did pull you in the middle of the night, and he just had equipment malfunction. So I mean, that would make any officer a little bit weary.
Sure. Do you need me to call tow service for you, officer, or are you good?
No, I'll have somebody out here. It'll be fine.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time.
So drive safe.
I'll pull off and observe all safety ordinances or whatever.
Yep. All right. You have no other delays on the way to that home.
Cool. When I get there, I'll be all sneaky.
Yep. All right. As you get there, you notice that there's a for sale sign in the front yard of the house.
Okay. So, and when I go over there, I'm guessing I'm going to see a cleaned out house.
Just about.
Sweet.
There is mail. You do see that the mailbox, the front of the door of the mailbox, though, is open. And you do see that there is a couple of pieces of mail in the mailbox.
Cool. I'll look them over and see if there was a forwarding address that didn't get used.
They're recent. They're within like the last 2 days recent.
Okay.
But there isn't any kind of forwarding address on them.
Cool. I will text Josiah. Well, actually, I'll go to another one that lives hopefully not too awful far away.
Okay.
And if that one is also gone, then I'll have.
That one's cool. That one's fine.
Okay.
That home actually is lived in. There are 2 vehicles under the carport, and there's a light on and an upstairs window, and there's what looks like a lamp on in the on one of the rooms on the first floor.
Okay. I will be stealthy. If you need to roll, I have 13 dice for this roll.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I will case the house and see if it says, has a sticker for like ADT or any kind of like monitoring stuff.
Yeah, it does, but to be honest, that whole damn neighborhood's got them. So I mean, it might be legit, it might not. You never know. Okay.
Well, then I will. If I don't see anybody in one of the bottom floor places, I will larceny break into the place.
Yeah. Again, I'm not gonna have you worry about rolling for it, and because actually you don't even need to break in. The door itself is not locked.
Oh, okay, well, I'll just open the door and quietly close it. And then, creep around the first floor first. Very, quiet, stealthy. See if there's who all's living here, if there's anyone.
All right. Looks like one of the assistant manager, basically based from is the address she went to. Looks like she has a family, 2 kids, about teenage age. Then you're judging this off of various pictures that you're seeing around on the first floor. 2 kids, maybe about teenage age. There is a male, adult male, in the photos, in several of the photos, and you see that that same adult male does have a couple of photos that he is actually in military uniform that are hanging on the wall.
Sure. Well, they did steal the blood that was going to the military people. Because I'm going to creep upstairs.
Okay. Same thing as, same kinds of pictures line the stairwell. Actually, as you're heading up here, you do see that the gentleman has actually put his awards on the wall here. And we're talking about a very decorated gentleman here. We've got, obviously no Purple Hearts. The gentleman's still alive, apparently. But you do have, serve all kinds of meritorious service ribbons. There's actually a certificate of appreciation for some time work done in Kosovo. There's a Operation Iraqi Freedom appreciation certificate on the wall. And basically, as you crest the top of the stairs, you see that there is a room that has the door slightly ajar that you see a light coming from. And there are a number of other rooms that the doors are shut.
Okay, I'll just creep into that room that has the door open.
Okay. As you step inside, you see there is a young lady is sitting there as she's flipping through TV channels, actually.
Who do I see?
This is the apparently the assistant manager of the shop.
Okay. And this one is a guy?
No, this is female.
Okay, cool. Just double
The male apparently isn't here.
Okay. Then cool. I will just walk into the room fairly brazenly. Just kind of open the door and nonchalantly walk in.
Yep. Like I said, as you step inside, the thumb that she was using to switch channels with suddenly stops.
I'll walk over to her.
It's almost like she could tell something's wrong, but she can't quite place it.
If I'm able to get all the way to her, I'm just going to get into her face and roll dominate and say quiet.
All right. Actually, you're able to, but about time that you basically dominate her,
Mm-hmm.
she turns where you can see her face.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that pops into your head, this chick does not look human. She looks Fae-like.
No. Okay.
You basically get you're just about to say it and then you can see this. And as soon as she turns, a look of utter fear falls over her face. She actually begins backing away from you.
Hello.
Please don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Look, I think we both know what each other are, but please just don't hurt me. Please. I mean, what can I help you with? But please just don't hurt me.
The shop that you work for is corrupting the area. The coven that you're part of houses infernal.
She sighs. Still, her voice still cracking, obviously in a very heightened sense of things. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're working on it.
How do you mean working on it?
Well, there's a couple of us that know. But see, it's not exactly as simple as just getting rid of the thing. It's here. It's been here long enough. It takes an act of damn Congress. There's a couple of us that know. actually more than a couple, but there's only that I know of. There's about, including me, there's 3 that know. And we 3 are apparent, from what I understand, the only 3 that are actually even trying to stop the damn thing.
Tell empathy that.
She's legit.
Woodrow gives a big sigh. That's good to hear. I thought I was going to have to come here and just destroy you, and you had 2 children and a husband. That would make me very sad.
Yeah, that's what I fear for the most.
Woodrow will just sit down somewhere. Okay. Now, when you say there are a few of you that know, as in there are a few of you Fae that know, there are a few of you in the circle that know, or there are...
Well, I'm the only... Okay. I don't know how much you know about how we work, but I'm the only one of the court that's in town right now. And because actually we see that I'm not even from here. This isn't even my house. See, my court's down in Myrtle Beach, and that's Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And see, we heard about it, but we weren't sure, so they sent me up here to look into it.
I see. I would
Like I said,
to...
I'm doing what I can. I mean, I've got a lot of information on it, but the thing is, it's just there's a lot of contradicting information, and I almost want to say that they're doing it. They're sending me contradicting information on purpose.
Oh, so you've already been found out, you think?
There's a possibility. Actually, it's the reason why I was so worried when you stepped in there is I've already had some odd things happening out there in the front in the yard since we found out about it.
Woodrow will go to the window, kind of staying back in the shadows but looking out.
All right. You do see that there's a picnic table out there, basically in her backyard. I mean, it's a pretty well manicured yard. There's a older model Dodge pickup truck sitting in the backyard. Even from this distance with your heightened senses, you can make out the various military bumper stickers that are plastered all over the back of it. And there is a fire pit out there. It's not lit. You could tell it's been lit several times, but this is not lit on this particular night. The whole place has basically a tree windbreak that goes around the back of it. But other than that, it's just nothing really stands out.
Cool. Just making sure I didn't see anything weird happening.
Yep.
So you have no connection to this family?
See, that's the thing. Dan knows. The kids, not so much. They know Mom's a little eccentric, but I don't want to tell them because I'm more worried for them. I really am, because if they find out, that I'm here, the high school finds out, and it gets all into public knowledge, and then the whole damn operation goes up in kabloots.
Okay, well then you're going to move somewhere else.
I wish I could.
Are you stuck, bound to this place?
Well, not so much spiritually, but all of the operation is here. You see, she basically heads back your way, and you see she approaches a cabinet behind you, and she opens the 2 cabinet doors, pulling them outward, and she motions for you to see inside. As you do, you see that there's file folders that are in this cabinet, with various names on them, various bits of information in the file folders, and she explains the whole this whole operation to stop this thing is based out of this house. The only reason why is because I'm shocked you were able to find the damn place, and it is an extremely secluded home.
Secluded just means easier for them to kill you. I have a more defensible place to keep your information. You should go somewhere else. I'll take your files, and then I will meet up with you at a later time and we can discuss it. Or you can take your chances here. I will not force you to leave, but I am here now, and if there is something here now, I will destroy it. But I cannot promise the safety of your children while I'm gone.
I gotta talk. I have to talk to the council first.
Woodrow shrugs. I'm not sure how long that will take you, but you are free to do that.
Yep, a couple of nights at most.
I hope it does not take that long, or I hope that your people who are watching you allow you that amount of time as luxury. If
Now,
something
trust
were
me,
to happen.
if it were up to me, I'd be the first thing moving out of here, but my hands are tied.
Can you give me the most relevant, can you let me take snapshots of the most relevant information in the event that they destroy you before I'm able to talk to you again?
She seems very apprehensive. Here's my thing. You look at it from my point of view. A vampire has stepped into your home and is wanting to see the information you have. Would that not look suspicious to you?
I understand. When does willpower refresh, Will?
Nightly.
Okay. He will rip a willpower and become a conduit of the storm. Pure, like encompassed lightning.
Yeah. Which actually freaks her out slightly until she's able basically to get control of herself. But this, all this banality that you're throwing off ain't making her happy.
Sure, but the lightning should be less banal than anything because it goes very anti what vampires normally do.
Yeah, which is why she's confused as shit right this moment.
Woodrow will pick up a coaster or something and watch it char and turn to nothing in his hand, and then he'll drop it and he'll go, I want you to understand, I am the deadliest thing in my society in the entirety of the state. I could take it should I choose, but I don't choose to. I'm here to hopefully show an outstretched hand. I'm also trying to destroy them. I have destroyed, and I'll name the Al Kahir dude or whatever. I've already destroyed him. I was the one who
perks her attention. This perks her attention.
I've destroyed the runes of summoning that he had in his home. I've destroyed his children machinations. So when I tell you that I'm here to assist, I say it with all sincerity.
I'll tell you what. She pulls one of the files out and basically she sets it on the table there beside of the cabinet. But she noticed she closes back the cabinet and she opens that file. Again, please understand it's not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. But I'll let you. But this, I feel like I can let you see this.
Woodrow will sit and look it over.
All right. A lot of it's the same. A lot of it is the same information you already know. Basically, addresses of where everybody stays. What you do see though, something that you hadn't seen yet. It looks like an inventory sheet from the shop.
Okay. Does it have like how many of those weird ongs have been sold?
Yeah. It actually does. It looks like it's it looks like it's a cross between an inventory sheet and basically a sales report.
Sure.
And it goes back for 2 months.
How many ongs are out there?
You see, one was sold about a week ago, and another one was sold the first week of last month.
Were you there when these were sold?
No, I was off both days, which is what really bothers me. Once is a coincidence. Twice is a pattern.
Yeah, Woodrow will sigh. Yeah, that's a concern. You still have one in the shop, and there are 2 more that are out there. At the very least, I can only hope that there's not any more. I'm not sure. When did you start stocking them? 2 months ago, or did you stock them before that?
No, well, personally, they've only. Well, I put it like this: as far as I can get back in research, because they being assistant manager, I can't get so far.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, they really started getting popular in sales wise about 2 months ago. I mean, we had people actually start asking for them.
Yeah, that's a power amplifier for demons, so they're out there corrupting.
I had a suspicion that's what it was. See, my concern is that the store manager doesn't even know what she's getting into. I don't think Michelle realizes what this is. Don't get me wrong. This, the lady knows. The lady's, rather versed, but I don't think this is in her purview.
I don't know. I know that she routinely went to a place where there was a bound demon, and that had eyeless machinations made of children and robotic parts. So I'm a little skeptical that she had no idea what was going on, messing with that Al-Sair guy.
Well, I can agree. I mean, I honestly can agree that was me more wishful thinking. Because, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't think she's a bad person. I just think I think she's just in with the wrong people.
Unfortunately, at this point, if she's in too deep with the wrong people, it means that she has sold at least some portion of her soul to a demon. And unfortunately, that's a very final mistake for me.
It's about this time that you begin to hear movement out there in the on the other side of that door. You hear a door opens, and you hear footsteps approaching the door of the room that you're in.
Okay, well, Woodrow will look for a spot to hide or to not be noticed.
All right. As the door opens, you recognize one of the kids in the photos. He sticks his head in the door and he speaks. "Everything okay, Mom?" She nods. "Yeah, everything's doing. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You can go back to bed. Don't worry about me. I've told you I'm fine." "Mom, you're not fine. I know you. There's something on your mind." It's nothing for you to have to worry about, dear. You can go back. You can go back to bed." He's not convinced, but he pulls the door too, and you hear the footsteps head back towards the direction they came.
I'll listen with heightened senses.
All right.
See if he actually goes back into his room or not.
Yeah. Though you hear him speak, I'm telling you, something's wrong. Then you hear another male voice. This one, not exactly that of an adult. I mean, it sounds like it's the voice has dropped as of puberty, but it sounds more of a younger voice. Look, I told you. Look, I can tell these things about her. She's just, something's not right. Then the first voice speaks again. Well, you know you know how private she is. I wish I could help, but I mean, I can't help her. She won't let us. Yeah.
While they're saying that, I'll just say that all out loud. I'll say, child 1 that looked in the door, blah, 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 blah. Child 2 in the room, blah, blah, blah. I'll just like repeat their conversation. And then I just look at her. I don't think that your ruse is as thorough as you think.
It's always the kids that can see through it better than anyone else.
The time for subterfuge on your end with them will come very short soon.
Maybe I think them too innocent, but let's just be honest, they're not really my kids. They're Dan's. They're Dan's from a previous marriage.
Well, I'm sure that your group has something similar to the keeping yourself unknown to the mortal populace.
She nods.
My people take that rather seriously. You should. I don't know if there's a way that you can ensure loyalty with your group, but they should probably have whatever measures you can, because they will know soon. And if they are educated of what can come, perhaps they'll survive whatever might come for you. Woodrow kind of says that with a shrug.
Yeah. Not untrue, but I always hate to involve innocents in a war.
I would not say that you should involve them any more than you have to, but educating them that something horrific might come and that they need to be prepared to leave without any question is important, I think. Also, there are mortal hunters here, in case you don't know. I'm not sure if they can see through the facade.
When did this happen?
They are mostly focused on us, but it might only be because we are the target of the moment. They are closer to actual Greenville, but if one were to come into your occult shop, and if they have the ability to, or can do things to ascertain your nature, I'm sure they would bring danger to your children and yourself.
At this, she actually breaks down to the point of actual tears. I don't know what to do anymore. I said, I've been doing the best I can here, but I swear it feels like I get 5 feet. I swear I feel like I move 5 feet and suddenly I slip back 10.
You need to inform your court that they need to either A, remove you from the situation, or B, send you support. The current situation is unacceptable for you, because if you die, they'll have all the research that we know on them, and they'll change all of their patterns. And that is unacceptable to me, because if they change where they're operating from and what they're doing, I will have to start from ground zero, and potentially that will allow an infernal fester to keep growing. So you must tell them that they need to remove you and give me your information, or they need to send you support, because this is too dangerous. your only asset here was the fact that you were anonymous, that they didn't know that you were what you were, and so you were able to sneak in and get information. Now that you've been getting false or contradictory information, it's very likely that your cover has been blown, and now what little advantage you did have is gone, and all you have is danger for innocence and yourself. And now they can know what they need to change and how deep you've dug.
This isn't. It's not untrue.
Woodrow will check the windows again.
Same thing. Nothing.
That's cool.
Wait, you said you had somewhere you could take the research, right?
Yes.
I know this is probably a lot to ask, and I don't even feel comfortable doing it, but I mean, it's like I said, I'm more worried about those kids. Anywhere we can go?
Yes.
Well, at this point, I think it's going to have to be an afterthought on the council. You're right. We do need to move.
Fine.
At this, you see, she actually starts gathering up the other files.
Do you have boxes so that I can help you gather things?
Yeah. You see, she actually she produces a number of them, and she starts packing up.
Woodrow will start packing things.
All right. I guess I'm gonna have to go break it to the kids.
He looks at her. It's a very cold vampiric exterior.
Yep.
And you'll see a slight downturn, like a frown at the corners of his mouth, and a shake of his head. I'm sorry. And he will start moving the things out of the room and downstairs. At this point, not attempting to sneak any longer because the children will be woken up anyway.
Yeah. All of about 10 minutes pass, and basically you see that the two children, along with her, appear there on the landing of the stairwell, and you see that the both of the kids have a military backpack on their back, and they've been they've dressed hastily.
Woodrow will go outside when he sees them. He says, "Hold on a moment," and he'll go outside and he'll stealthily sneak out of the house, and he will case the area to make sure they're not being watched or anything.
You do see what looks like a pile of dirt on the corner of their property that's been freshly dug.
We'll go back in. I'm like, did you guys bury a household animal or anything?
The two kids look at each other and then back to the lady as neither one of them seems to know what you're talking about.
There's a pile of dirt that's been recently disturbed in the corner of your yard.
Oh, great.
He will.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
What? He'll start looking around quickly.
It's said if you take a container and you fill it with things like nails, safety pins, needles, and you bury it on the corner of the property, that the people on that property will never be able to leave that property.
So if I unbury it, will it disturb the ritual?
I don't know.
Okay, Woodrow just immediately goes to the backyard, opens his shit, and starts digging the shit up.
And she was right. There is indeed and actually it's in a plastic soda bottle full of it.
Woodrow will focus his counter magic on this and see if it will help disturb this ritual.
Okay. Actually, the very unearthing of it broke it.
Oh, cool.
So if he doesn't feel any residual magic,
He doesn't.
he will take the bag and say, the ritual is undone quickly.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Leave your vehicles.
See, she starts packing up that same pickup truck that was in the backyard.
Yeah,
See, she heads around there and starts packing it up.
He tells you to not take her vehicle.
But
He will provide her with a new. I will provide you with a different vehicle. For now, we're going to take mine and leave now. And he's driving like a big Escalade type thing.
no, yeah, he's good. All right, so you're able to get out of there with no problem. She does lock up the house though,
Sure.
probably out of habit or out of fear. You're not quite sure which, but she locks up the house and they load up. Again, a very apprehensive tension in the air, a one that of not exactly mistrust, but more of a fear of the unknown more than a fear of you.
Like he doesn't really mind if they fear him or not. Is there anything that I know about with these particular demons that I could use to see if if the Infernalists have secretly gotten to one of the kids or anything?
Nothing that you've been able to, nothing that you've really, been able to pick up on yet.
Sure.
It's probably in that library somewhere. You just haven't stumbled over it yet.
Yeah. That's totally fine. Okay. So Woodrow is going to start driving them back to Greenville. Do you have excuses prepared for them for school?
I didn't think that far ahead, to be honest.
Something to start thinking about.
Well, I suppose I could find a reason to homeschool them.
I look back at them with, now that they're closer to me, my obvious cat eyes.
Yeah.
While I'm driving Ollie, I'll look at them, kind of back and forth between them and the road.
Yeah. You notice though, one of them, the older one obviously is appears to be maybe about a year or two older than the other one. As he locks eyes with you, you see his demeanor changes from a fear to more of an inquiry. After seeing your eyes, he keeps trying to keep his mouth shut. And the younger boy, actually, you see he elbows him in the side and shakes his head. And the older boy finally just comes off of it. And he speaks. Okay. This is going to sound really awkward, but are those real, sir?
Of course not. That would be ludicrous.
Well, they're really cool.
Yeah. I look over at their pseudo mom. The less you know of me, the better your life will be.
Mom, can we try? And at this point, you see she actually raises up over the back of the passenger side seat, and she leans back to them. Don't question this. To which the two boys, just a look of utter shock falls over them. Well, okay, I'm sorry, that was uncalled for, but just go with it, okay? I mean, it's complicated. Two boys nod and not entirely agreed, but nod.
He will not say really anything further, and he will just go. He'll actually just take them to his haven.
Yep. And put them up for the night.
Yes. I tell them the same thing. I ask my butler, find them rooms. I assume the mother will want them to stay in the room with them. So provide them with cots or beds or whatever extra that we can provide for them to be comfortable in the same room. I look at her.
You have, except for this room, and I'll say whatever room that what's his name's in. You have free run of the first floor. My servants will provide you with food. They will cook you within reason, whatever you'd like to eat. But the main floor is where you have access, not downstairs, not upstairs. I'll hand my butler like $1,000, and I'll tell him to send out a servant to go buy them whatever the latest gaming system that they enjoy and games that they want, so that they have things provided for them.
He nods.
My study is over there. That is where I keep my liquor cabinet as well. So you should watch them while they're in that room if you don't want them drinking alcohol.
The very mention of alcohol seems to garner a sour look on her face.
I would suggest that you all stay inside. And I look at them very sternly when I say that. And I look at her, and I'll lean in closely, and I'll whisper, I have runes protecting the house. They can only be seen from inside. The boys cannot disturb those because they are runes of protection. Do you understand?
She nods.
Then you all have a run of what I've told you of the house. Enjoy yourselves as the best you can. I take the boxes. I tell her that she can keep the boxes with her, or I can put them in my private room. Either is fine. I don't care.
Yeah, she hangs on to them.
I will also quietly tell her that the room I told her not to go in has another Kindred in it. So he will wake up in the evening, and you should probably avoid him until I've had a chance to speak to him.
Very well, very well. Well, actually, I was getting ready to put myself down for the night myself, so not to be rude, but I think I'll retire for the evening.
That's more than fine. Most of that information was for daylight, whenever you wake up. I look at the boys. Sleep well. And I will start heading upstairs, but I will text Jeeves, or whatever my butler's name is, and tell him that there are servants outside of their doors all the time and watching in case the boys, switch out, do whatever kind of rotation you need, but make sure the boys don't go upstairs or downstairs and don't go outside.
You get a text back that says you basically get sure.
Yeah, that's fine. And then, I will do what I was going to do before, and I'll read my stuff, and I'll text Josiah, found a Fae in my domain, trying to deal with Infernalist 2, trying to get her to send, to get more Fae to come, because she cover blown, so she is liability.
You immediately get a text back with all number of characters, expletives, something completely out of character for Sam.
Okay.
Followed a couple of seconds later by an apology and basically let's just say take care of them and basically grant them political asylum, if you will, is basically what he's asking.
I currently have them in my haven, so would require them to attack me to attack them.
So I'm going to cast Wake with Evening's Freshness on myself so that if somebody attacks during the day, like if the Infernalists happen to come in during the day or like Hunters or whatever, I will wake up at my full traits and not based on my humanity. And I will wake up, if someone tries to rouse me, like any of my, or if I hear alarms, if I hear my servants or whatever, I will wake up immediately. And
All right.
that's
So just for record, what do you have active on you right now? Do you have Deflection of Doom active?
yes.
Okay.
And Defense of the Sacred Haven is cast. So even if a window opens, or if a door opens, or if there's even a hole blasted in the wall, the ritual says that it does not allow sunlight sunlight enters your haven, but causes you no damage.
Cool. Got it. All right. Well, like I said, that wraps up everything I have plot wise.
All right, that's cool. Hopefully sometime soon we can handle Terry and the Dean and all the other shit.
Yeah. Which Terry's gonna be a big scene.
Oh yeah.
So
all right.
Yeah. So that being said, viewers, thanks for tuning in. Assuming that any are. Stay tuned. There's more coming up. Well, more coming down the pipeline here in Tarheel. And if you're interested in anything you've seen, feel free to hit us up on Facebook. That's Tarheel by Dark on Facebook. We're always looking for new players. All right. And you guys have a good afternoon, good evening, whichever one it is for you.
Later.